So welcome Ipshita Kumar today to TOA on air with Q Podcast from Tech Open Air 2024. How are you feeling today? What are your first thoughts about the conference?
I'm feeling great. I arrived yesterday, so my first touch point with TOA was at the speaker dinner. Beautiful place, amazing people. Met a lot of folks that I've had only ever seen online, so it was really good to put a face to the name. And yeah, today at the venue, it's really cool. Love it. Love the energy. Love the audience as well. I was really surprised to see the crypto savviness that the audience had at my talk. So far, having a great time.
Cool. I'm glad that you had a great time. So can you briefly introduce yourself to us? Like, who is Ipshita Kumar? What you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ipshita Kumar. I'm the Vice President of Brand Innovation at Hype, which is an on-chain marketing agency. We've been around actually since 2017. It was founded by our founder, Jake, who's also the CEO right now of Hype. And yeah, since 2017, at least not me, but definitely Jake and the older members at Hype have probably gone through multiple bear and bull cycles, have seen the market change absolutely every single year. So that's also allowed them to understand what to do and what not to do, what works and what doesn't work in crypto marketing. And then, yeah, so today we're about 100 people strong in terms of the team. We're completely distributed. But our head office is here in Berlin. So it also makes it a perfect trip. So I do TOA as well as see some of my colleagues. And yeah, and we work with, let's say, some of the top crypto projects and we help them either to launch their product in the market or help them scale. So that's like a post-launch stage.
Amazing.
And then under the Hype group, outside of the agency, we also have Hype DevRel, which takes care of the developer marketing sector. And then we have Hype Talent that takes care of recruitment and headhunting in the crypto marketing as well. So there are a lot of different business units under Hype as well. So yeah, it's an exciting company and space to be in.
Developer marketing, that's an interesting pillar. Can you tell us Hype's journey of streamlining the adoption of Web3 and the metaverse by making the technology more accessible to brands and consumers?
For Hype, the typical clients that we see would be most like infrastructure projects. So most of the times you have infrastructure projects that are focused towards attracting their ideal target audience. So the way Hype works is, with these type of projects, is understanding their product and then figuring out how do you distill that information, the product information, to its target audience, so then for them to be able to hopefully attract more target audience in this case. So we work with different stages of the company. You could be at a pre-launch stage, so you would essentially come to Hype when you're just about to launch your product or a big announcement is coming up and you need everything from social media to community management to PR to really ramp up and help you support in that journey. Or you come at a post-launch stage where you're about to scale your product. So you've already launched a product maybe over the last 6 months or 1 year, and now you're looking for more initiatives to grow your brand and to grow the product suite offering. It's interesting to see projects when they come at different stages and what their needs are. And I feel like because the space evolves so fast, having about 60 to 100 people team at any given time within the marketing agency also allows us to keep a very keen pulse on what's hot, what's not hot, what's trending. So yeah, I feel like it's a constant learning curve. Everything that I learned last week may or may not be relevant this week, so I feel like it always keeps us on our toes. And yeah,
I think that's relevant with everything technology, right? Like everything changes in a very fast pace, and that's not necessarily only the Web3. So like the comparison between the online native and not online native out of generation is like actually an easy comparison. But do you think that comparison between like an online Web2 native per se, is that easy to compare with the Web3 natives?
For now, not so much, because the percentage of people that understand and operate within the crypto industry is significantly much smaller than the wider world that has access to online resources. But as we're going to see blockchain technology permeate our culture more and more, you're going to see a generation that only understands what's on chain, right? And that's where I was trying to say in my talk towards the end, is that Imagine a world where I have a 10-year-old and she's playing with NFT toys or toys inspired by the NFT collection. She will not know about this moment or this conversation that we're having about how NFT collections become brands. She'll just play with these toys, and for her, it would be the de facto.
Right.
So, oh, this is a pudgy penguin, and I'm playing with it. But she wouldn't recognize or register or wouldn't need to know that it used to be an NFT collection. So for her, that would be the de facto. And then with the same pudgy penguin, she can scan it and then connect it to any of the metaverses. So for her, that would become the obvious reality. And that's where we are going to see a lot more of the real Web3 nativeness when this generation of Web3 savvy will start having, kids, and they'll be able to spread that culture around.
Cool. Great answer. Thank you. And how do you define Born Onchain, and what is the advantage of those brands were born on chain, like brand-wise, not our kids?
No, absolutely. So yeah, it goes back to the same thing that we were talking about right now. I'd say brands that were born by leveraging the blockchain technology is how we would categorize these brands as born on chain.
Right.
There is this thing that I often tell a lot to my clients, and also the different brands that we work with. It's called like the triple O experience or the OOO experience. That is, you had offline brands, online brands, and then on-chain brands. Offline brands were those that our parents remember from our parents' time. Online brands are the ones that you and I probably scrolled through every day when we're going through Instagram and TikTok. And then there's on-chain brands like Bored Ape Yacht Club, Doodles, DJ Distillery, Pudgy Penguins that were born as an NFT community, and then they are becoming more cultural brands. Now, it doesn't matter which O you fit in or where you started. Every brand wants to figure out, how do I get online? How do I get offline? So an example for that, you have Kylie Cosmetics, started as an Instagram born brand, had her e-commerce store, but at some point they wanted to leverage offline presence. So now you have different duty-free airport stores. You have like a Kylie Cosmetics section where you can actually go touch and buy Kylie Cosmetics. So although it was a brand born online, it figured its way out in the offline realm. Similarly, you have the traditional brands like Nikes of the world that started as an offline brand, and then they figured the digital strategy, and then they acquired Artifact to have their Web3 strategy. And then the same thing goes for on-chain brands. You could be born out of an NFT community to start with, and then you're trying to figure out, what does my retail strategy look like? What does my e-commerce strategy look like, right? So it doesn't matter where you're born, you'll always kind of permeate between these three realms at any given point.
That's actually really smart argumentation, because as much as the technology is also developing, that every smart brand wants to keep step with it. So
exactly. And in all these three realms, Web3 native people, how do you compare them to others? Every one of these realms have different target audiences. So if you are an online brand that only existed on Instagram, at some point you want to tap into a target audience that does not have access to the internet, you need to adopt an offline strategy. Similarly, for an on-chain brand, and we already know that the subset of people that understand crypto is so small compared to the wider world, you need to adopt a more mainstream strategy to start becoming a part of the culture and everyday use of the common public.
You know what, I actually want to congratulate you, because not so many people whose brands are on-chain or whose product is basically an infrastructure product, an SDK and so on in crypto industry, they do not really recognize this fact that you're saying, there's not many people in the world, they understand fully what Web3 is, what blockchain is, and they can't really I don't know, I don't want to say this is an obstacle for them, but this is somewhat a challenge is going to be for their market reach, right?
Absolutely.
I think I understand it, because we're more marketeers.
Yes.
We understand how the world, what are the behaviors, what are the consuming behaviors and so on, but not many, per se, infrastructure services of blockchain doesn't really understand that, they can't really find a market fit, because this market is not yet ready for that.
Yeah. Either it's not ready for that, or you're making it so hard for people to understand,
exactly.
right?
Thank you, yes.
Something I keep telling people is that the people you're marketing to, they haven't changed. They're still human beings. We still eat 3 times a day. We still do the same bodily functions that makes us human. So when you remove the jargon out of this, your complex product, you'll be surprised how easy it is to understand.
I completely agree with you.
A lot of times when I would come across different projects in Web3, the first thing I would go on ChatGPT, I'm like, dump their white paper there. I'm like, explain it like I'm a 5-year-old. And then it will use like a cookie example or some random example to explain. I'm like, okay, so this person's doing exactly this, and I understood this because I can then compare it to what is already happening in the Web 2 market. And it's easier to understand. And then I can approach them with a better strategy and with better thinking and innovative work.
Right.
But if you just read a lot of documentation and you just don't understand, it gets hard. It even gets hard for marketeers, because our job is to market your brand and your product. So if we don't understand it like a 5-year-old, how do we sell your product?
Absolutely. I totally agree. Sometimes they just like say something cloud, and I see it as like a cloud technology product, but how can it be in Web3? Because, you know, like this is basically, cloud technologies are about collecting data.
Yeah.
So how can you collect data in Web3? This is all about not collecting data. So even that's gimmicks. Thank you so much,
My
Ipshita.
pleasure.
I'm so happy that we are aligning on many things about Web3 marketing and how many challenges out there, especially for the infrastructure companies.
Indeed.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us
My
today.
pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.